Initiative Officer for the Chief of Police.
Cooley.
Yes, sorry.
And officer, so what are we here to learn about the Spanish Police Academy?
Yeah, so the police chief has said it. You guys have probably heard. He wants to make sure we're reaching out and serving those that are underserved. And part of that is reaching out to the Spanish-speaking communities and working hard to try to get them engaged and involved. Language barriers can sometimes be an issue, and we're using the Citizens Police Academy to educate this demographic on what we are as a police department and how we serve and what we do, and quite honestly some of the resources they have at their disposal. Introduce them to their community police officers and work to start building that bridge of communication and collaboration, and see what we can do to partner and reduce crime, improve quality of life.
So tell us, I guess, what is the Citizens Police Academy, and how do you tailor it specifically to a Spanish population?
Right. So the first step of this isn't the end game, what we've accomplished so far, and I do have to tout our relationship and partnership with the Mexican consulate. You will hear from them next. They actually partnered with us and hosted the event. We really wanted to focus in on leadership in those communities first, and that's a respect thing. That's the right thing to do. To reach out to them and work with them. We provided them a scaled down version of the Citizens Police Academy. Instead of the full meal deal, they got 2 nights, about 3 hours each night, just to give them a little taste about what that Citizens Police Academy is, and quite honestly to get their feedback as well. What do you think we should add? What do you think we should tweak? What's going to help us get involved in those communities a little bit more thoroughly? And so it's a true partnership, and they were critical, quite honestly, in getting leadership to the table to come around and help us out. Chato Villalobos, one of our West Side CAN officers, was critical in getting that done as well, because we're talking decades-long community policing and relationships with those communities, and it pays off, those relationships, and that's exactly what we want to expand on. The last time we spoke, we talked a little bit about the community interaction officers and the chief wanting to add a second CIO. Well, this is going to be part of that in expanding those interactions and those outreaches to the community. So,
Do you have a tentative rollout date, Jason?
For the next step?
For the next step?
Yeah, not yet. We're kind of still in the planning phase where we just wrapped up that first part, and then we're going to kind of survey those leaders that were in attendance and move forward from there.
And
where did it take place and how many participants did you have?
It took place at the Mexican consulate, and this took place on Monday night and Tuesday night, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're big believers in breaking bread. In this instance, we broke bread over tamales, but it was a good event. It was a good time. We had roughly, I want to say 20 participants, not including police representatives that were in attendance. The chief actually himself showed up the first night and opened it up and welcomed everybody, and several representatives from the Mexican consulate as well. So we probably ended up with roughly 30 or so in the room.
And who was the target audience? Were these leaders within the Spanish-speaking community, or?
For this particular event, yes. I'll call them bridge builders. We want them to help bridge relations with the Spanish-speaking communities and try to overcome that language obstacle, and see what we can do to work together and improve things.
And what were the expectations, the takeaways from that gathering? What is it that you want them to impart within their separate communities?
Correct. So next step is we want their input and feedback on what we can do to tailor specifically the Citizens Police Academy to better serve the folks that we're wanting to reach out to, those Spanish speakers. And we're prepared actually through technology, translation, and actual Spanish-speaking officers on the police department to bring into that mix. I mean, it will be tailored specifically, kind of custom, so to speak, to that group.
How many Spanish-speaking patrol officers do you guys have now?
Excellent question. I'm not sure on that one, but we can work to get the answer for you. Yeah.
How critical is that tool in your utility belt to have?
It's a good tool to have. obviously. We've got large Hispanic populations in the west side and the historic northeast. And, you know, that's the whole purpose for this, is to reach out and engage. And we're not gonna stop here. Once we're done with this, we're gonna be working on other areas as well and continue that outreach. So that's the direction we're headed.
What were some of the concerns that they expressed to the department in terms of their interaction with officers out on the street?
Minority recruitment was one of them, and I've already talked to the chief yesterday. I've talked to the employment unit. He's interested in trying to do a hiring fair on the west side. So this is all very fresh. This discussion just happened yesterday, so I really don't have any details. I'm going to be meeting with that captain today, but this, like I said, this is the direction we're going. Chief Smith is very community-minded, obviously, and he wants outreach, and that's exactly what we're going to do. It's the right thing to do.